Hello and welcome to South Bay Sports Radio. Here's your host, Nick Ingram.
Welcome back in to South Bay Sports Radio. I am sitting down today with Corey Kitani, who's gone from playing at Torrance High to coaching at Rolling Hills Prep under his uncle, one of the most respected coaches in Southern California, Harvey Kitani, to now leading his own program over at Carson High. We'll talk a lot of different things, but I want to welcome Corey Kitani to South Bay Sports Radio.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me. I really admire what you're doing in the South Bay specifically. But yeah, I think this podcast show, I've seen all your other guests. I know you've had my uncle on and some other, a bunch of amazing coaches and people on this platform. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Of course, before we get going, make sure to check out Barber to You for all of your haircut needs, whether it's Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, a meeting, or you just need to feel like you're not growing hair between your neck and your beard. Barber to You, located on Crenshaw Boulevard, just off of Rolling Hills Way. All right, Corey, what's one invaluable lesson you've learned from your uncle that you apply every day, whether your team is realizing it or not?
Just showing up every day. I would say that's one of the, trying to lay the groundwork, the foundation every day. There's days where, some of the kids, they need a little extra push. A lot of things, different outside factors going on, even for myself, right? Just having them see you there every day, every morning, practice, game, you're the same way. You're holding them to the standards no matter what. But yeah, just being there every day, discipline, accountability, all those things, doing it the right way.
What was the biggest reason that you took the job at Carson?
Well, I actually am a full-time PE teacher over here as well. So I've been teaching with the district for 6 years now. I was 3 years over in a middle school in South Central. And then I knew I always wanted to get to the high school. And then, of course, something a little closer too, since I was already coaching at Rolling Hills. And I'm from the South Bay. So when I saw the Carson job was open for PE, I went ahead and I applied, since the state and the district one, and then to South Bay, so it's really close to Rolling Hills, and then high school. That's where I wanted to be at. And then, yeah, that's kind of how I ended up here. And then it just worked out where this past year, so this is my third year teaching here now at Carson, and yeah, it opened up. So I went for it, and now we're here.
What's been one of the biggest challenges for you going from a school like Rolling Hills Prep to Carson in regard to coaching? You've been with the district for 6 years, but talk about the challenges.
Well, I think everyone kind of knows already, but the resources and versus a private school, public. There's one thing that I have here that Rolling Hills Prep doesn't have, believe it or not, is a gym, right? At least I don't have to go anywhere, drive 10, 15 minutes from the actual campus of the school just for practices or anything like that. So that part's nice. We have a weight room here. But yeah, just small little things. I have to get a bunch of, always signatures for everything, whether it's fundraisers, even practice times, different things out of the season, in season, right? A lot more things to go through to make sure your bases are covered versus the private schools kind of they kind of have their own rules in place. But yeah, I would say that's definitely probably the biggest adjustment between the, city section and Southern.
So when we think Marine League basketball, we think Narbonne, we think San Pedro, and in the last couple of years, of course, Gardena has been one of the top teams. But how do you want to make it so that Carson is talked about in that upper echelon of not only the Marine League, but the city section as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One, this is a great city. Carson's always been one of those tight-knit communities, and a lot of alumni, they take great pride in Carson. Being a Carson alum, tons of our teachers and even coaches are all former alumni. So just knowing that and knowing I still know a lot of the kids. I'm involved in the travel ball. I help out with California Gold, which is based in Torrance, South Bay area. But yeah, I know there's a lot of, there's still quality families and kids around the area. And I just want, I'm hoping that, doing it the right way, development, big on player development, and, just hard work every day, doing it the right way. And I think by doing it that way, slowly we kind of get our way back to the top, towards the top of the Marine League and the city section. Because yeah, it's possible. It's just day by day, every day, just kind of stack brick by brick.
We're going to go back to this season. So I had run into Corey when I was covering the Rolling Hills Prep St. Monica game for the Daily Breeze. And you had been talking to me about not only winning your first round game in Division 2, but also the difference in how things can be selected as far as either handpicking by a personal committee or a computer. And Carson got good wins over Narbonne this year and a very close game against San Pedro. But what do you feel can be adjusted when it comes to computer rankings, choosing how, for instance, Redondo's girls get the 12 seed in the open division as opposed to, a top seed in Division 1?
I think we're all still getting used to the new, I guess, formula, right? And how the playoff seedings go, both for Southern section, since I was part of it when they made this new format, and of course, city section now. I think there's always pros and cons to both. The computer, they take in the strength of schedule and more wins and losses and all that, which I think is important too, for sure. But I also feel, you still need that human, physical people on the committee, whether it's coaches or anyone that, try to kind of help with the seating. Cause in my case at Carson anyways, our record might not be, I don't think our record shows what kind of a caliber team we are, in my opinion. I know we had a long stretch of the season where, we're missing a few key pieces, and it's hard to win games. We had chances, but it's just hard. And then we finally got them back towards the second half of our league, so towards the end of January. And with them, I feel like we're confident and we could compete with anyone in the city for the most part. And so it's kind of like, the combination of both. If we're able to find a way to somehow do that one day, hopefully, I think that would be helpful. But yeah, it's just, we're all still trying to figure out, the best way to go about this. And I don't know if there ever will be a 100% correct answer way to go about it. But yeah, I think we're kind of heading in the right direction. I think, trying to, I think somehow finding a way to combine both formulas, the computer and all those numbers, and then get some high basketball, valued minds, whether it's coaches or prep writers like yourself that go out and watch a lot of these teams, and they kind of come together and, formulate the decision.
I think that's a very good idea. All right. So you've seen both worlds. You've seen the city section side, the Southern section side. But aside from resources, what are some things that stand out to you moving from a Division 1 program like Rolling Hills Prep, where, of course, it's been growing since you started coaching there because you were there 2 years before your uncle. Where you've gone from, say, Division 5, Division 6 to now Division 1. So what are some of those differences that you've seen in this first year alone, being on the sideline at Carson?
The biggest difference, honestly, is just probably I know we talked about the resources, but it's just now that I'm here at Carson, just trying to take what I learned from those early years of watching my uncle and being involved in it, and seeing how he laid down the foundation, the groundwork, set a culture for what he wanted moving forward there. And now I'm just trying to take that and, trying to bring that over here, to Carson. And, there's different challenges as far as, like we talked about, public versus private, city, school, Southern section. Some of the players in our program where they, they're outside of school, they're, might look a little different, might have different challenges and obstacles, but, at the end of the day, when they're here, I'm just, we're trying to every day, trying to build it. And, hopefully every year, the main goal is every year we have improvement, right? As a program and off the court and on the court.
What does a normal practice look like to you on a non-game day? You know, what is something you want to hammer home the most in
hmm
practices?
Yeah. Well, for us, definitely. I mean, from my background, of course, too. It's always been stressing the fundamentals. Um, I've learned that without those, just like in anything, right, it's hard to ever reach your potential. Um, Fundamentals and everything, right? I try telling my kids, players, back when you were in early education in elementary, you're learning basic letters, how they sound, spelling, how to structure a sentence. Right? That's like the fundamentals, the basic level one. And then you work your way up to paragraphs, essays, and it gets complex, or just like math, right? Addition, subtraction. You got to start with the foundation, the fundamentals. So that's definitely what I try to install here every day. We're doing footwork, some type of footwork, pivots, V cuts, squaring up, trying to stay low, defensive stance, all those things, blocking out, and then just kind of expanding off of that. And early on, it was an adjustment, I think, for them to understand that, because it's not the most fun things to work on. The fundamentals, dribbling, passing, it's not the most fun. A lot of kids just want to get out there and just play, trying to get them to understand how important these little things are. And then from there, hey, you build. All right. So yeah, I would say that's kind of what the normal practice, no matter what, you can expect to see us working on fundamentals, at least for the first part of practice. And then from there, we'll kind of expand off through game plan. If we got a game coming up, uh, skill building, you know, shooting, dribbling, incorporating shooting or ball handling and different stuff out of actions that we like to play, put them in the spots to work on game type shots.
What was the biggest thing that pulled you toward coaching?
Um, well, I've always been, obviously, I had a love for the game at an early age. I grew up in a gym between my uncle, everyone in my family played basketball. My great uncle as well, Dave Yanai, who was the high school coach, and also at Cal State LA and Dominguez Hills. So basically, it was kind of like I grew up in a gym no matter what, right? And I used to see them coach, and then I always went to their camps, played for them all the time, and then after high school, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I just kind of figured, maybe try something still in basketball. And then that's when it's like, oh, I'll give coaching a try, because I would help out at my uncle's camps actually as like a counselor. All right. And, it was fun helping out these little kids, and I really enjoyed it. So gave the coaching a try after high school. I went to Long Beach State, was doing my credential program over there. And that's when I started helping at RHP with, at the time it was Brian Negan. So I was there with him for 2 years. And then when my uncle came over 2 years later, that's when I stayed on staff with him. And yeah, just through those years, those early years, I just saw how much you can truly affect and help, these high school, these young kids, their lives through the game of basketball, right? And I realized how much I learned from it too. And it really shaped who I am as a person too, I think, just from all those years of having those, like my uncle, for example, like having him in my ear, because he coached me too growing up on a youth team. Just how many life lessons you learn from it. And yeah, there's nothing like just sharing that knowledge with the youth, and then seeing them when they, achieve whatever their dream is, whether it's on the court, off the court dreams. When you see them achieve it, it's something it's like one of those priceless moments.
If one of your former players comes back 10 years from now and says, Coach, I learned this from you, what is one thing that you hope that it is, whether it be on the court or off the court?
Um, well, on the court, I hope they'll come back and say at least, hey, you know, they feel like they improved, and even if it was something that they maybe I had to get on them every day about, whether it became, and if they realized it 5 years, 10 years from then, um, hey, at least I know they kind of grew up and matured in that way, and they understood it. Um, but just main thing is, of course, off the court, right, and just learning the value of like we in the beginning, right? Showing up every day, um, having that right work ethic, the discipline, the attitude to go through things, adversity, right? Persevering through that. Because those are things that you got to learn, that you're gonna have to go through for the rest of your life. So hopefully, the sooner you could understand that, and through basketball, um, I hope they learn that. And yeah, that's, I think, the ultimate goal is just to see them, after, and they're successful, and hopefully one or two things that they learn from me, they'll be able to apply it, and they'll help them out in whatever they end up choosing to do in their lives and when they have families later on.
All right, let's talk about this year's team. Who have been some of the players that have stood out to you, that have helped your team push itself to, you know, last night was your first playoff win of the season, to the finish that you guys had?
I mean, with us this year, it's been, if I'm being honest, it's everyone on our team. Um, the nice thing about our team is I feel like everyone, because we've had so many highs and lows of the season, but one thing they've always done is they've stuck together. Um, they've never lost that confidence, the drive to, keep improving. Um, and so I would have to say, honestly, like everyone, because there's been a lot of change, right? Anytime a new coach comes in first year, I want to say, I think like 8 of our guys are from the previous, they've been in the program. I think maybe 6 or 7 of them were from varsity last year. So, you know, new program, some small changes here and there and everything. And, they've had to really stick together, and they've definitely have. And, I feel like through all that, we've been battle tested, been through adversity, and we're learning how to persevere. And I'm hoping that, I feel like we're playing our best basketball right now, which is the best time to do that.
How would you describe Marine League games? Like I said, you've got battles with Narbonne, battles with San Pedro, battles with Gardena. What would best describe those battles?
There's no plays off, and you have to be ready to play. That's one thing. Every team in our league plays extremely hard, the effort from start to finish, all 32 minutes. And I would say that's the one thing I've noticed being in this league. Yeah, no plays off, no room to take, a little breath of just stop and take a breath. Because if you do, yeah, few possessions could swing the game a whole different way. Um, yeah, all the guys compete, they play hard. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I would say about our Marine League. And it's very, I feel like this past year was very, I feel like everyone kind of could beat anyone. I mean, I know Banning had beat Rancho Dominguez this year. We beat Narbonne, Pedro and Narbonne split, the Ardina and Banning split. So it was a lot. It was pretty balanced, I think. Anyone could beat anyone on any given day.
How would you describe the coaching level in the Marine League? New coach at Gardena. Kumase has been at Narbonne for a couple of years. He graduated there. Coach Bobic has been at San Pedro for 26 years. But how fun is it to be on the sidelines against those kind of coaches, knowing that their pedigree is similar to yours?
I respect every coach in our league. We all definitely put in the most work that we possibly can, and we're all in it for the right reasons. Of course, Coach Bobic over at Pedro, he's the veteran of our group, been there forever, and he runs a great program over there, and it speaks for himself. They're in the open division, and every year they're, competitive back-to-back league champs. Narbonne, he does a great job over there. I think, like you said, he's in his second, or maybe this might be his third year now. But yeah, all these guys, they do a great job of, you could tell the kids, all the players, they respect their coaches, and by showing it out there, they go out there and play hard. Every game, every play, they fight, even when the coaches kind of get on them. I see that, but they respond well, and that's just because you could tell they respect and the trust that they have. And hey, you could say our Marine League, all right, we got 2 teams in the open. I know San Pedro last night upset. I guess you could say it's an upset, and like it's a 5 seed. They beat Washington Prep last night. And then Narbonne, I know I haven't seen the game or anything, but I know they played Cleveland and they lost by, I think it was like 7, 8. So it wasn't too, and Cleveland was a 2 seed. So yeah, I mean, I think that kind of speaks for itself right there. Rancho Dominguez beat Taft last night in Division One. So yeah, I think all of our coaches were a combination of veteran with Bobich and then younger Rancho Dominguez coach had been around. He was at Compton High earlier with DeMar DeRozan and everyone. So kind of a good mix of some veterans and some newer coaches, I think.
All right. That will wrap the quote unquote serious part of our episode. We're going to transfer into rapid fire. Corey, top 3 all-time favorite basketball players.
Top 3, I would have to say probably, Allen Iverson. He was one of my favorite players growing up. That's why as a player I wore number 3. Allen Iverson, LeBron, just for what he does, I mean. And the third one is tough. Can't ever go wrong with Jordan or Kobe, but I also like the guy I'm really liking now is like Shea, SGA, just for what he does because he does a little bit of everything.
If you could have a meal with anybody, alive or dead, from any period of time, who would it be?
Alive or dead? I think I would have to say, probably like John Wooden, just because I didn't get a chance to ever know him. I know like my Uncle Davey and I know he kind of knew him and everything, but John Wooden, just pick his brain on different things and talk about the pyramid of success and yeah, just kind of see how things were back then.
Top 3 basketball movies.
Top 3 movies, basketball. Couple things I see I like. I know like Coach Carter was always a good one I used to like. Glory Road, the one about UTEP. And I know there's like another one that I can't think of. It's on the tip of my tongue. Who knows? I'll think about it. If I remember during this, I'll say it. If not, who knows? I'm going to have to text you about it later.
Deal. All right. A biopic is being made about Corey Kitani's life. Who plays you?
A biopic. Oof. That's a tough one. You got any guys that come to your head? What comes to your mind?
For me, personally, I mean, I was always called Corey Matthews in high school. So Ben Savage, that would be me. These days with the beard, I don't know. I haven't really thought of it, to be honest with you. That would be a good question for me.
Yeah, because for me, I don't know if I'm being honest. I've never been asked that one.
Last one, your go-to South Bay eatery and your favorite dish there.
Okay. Well, for starters, I love breakfast burritos. So my favorite breakfast burrito I've had in the South Bay, I would say, was from a Classic Burger down in like Torrance, Redondo Beach area.
Okay.
At their breakfast burrito, I would say that's probably my favorite one. Yeah. If you got any recommendations for breakfast burritos, hey, shoot them my way.
Corey, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you, and good luck to the Colts.
Thank you. No problem. And no, thank you for having me. And I look forward to seeing you out in more gyms as the years move on.
All right, don't leave.